Everyone's here. We're ready to rock and roll. All right, guys.
I guess you're taking over for this one. So.
Hey, we're back. It's spring. We figured out what was wrong with the 68 Charger, and we're going to go over it with you real quick. Tell you the changes we made. We switched out to the Whipple. You've seen us do the dance for the Whipple. By the way, we're not crazy. We're just trying to keep it entertaining. And we changed the carburetors into 1050s. And because we changed the Whipple Charger, we had to buy a new snout. No, the snout don't come with us. We had to buy a new snout, and then a new swing arm, and then a new belt. So we did all that because what was happening is if you recall, we were getting a popping and whatnot. I'm going to point to this wire. So if anyone ever else runs into this, okay, this wire is from your MSD box to your distributor. The wire had a break in it, and so what would happen is it would connect every now and then, and every once in a while you get a halfway decent pull. But what it would also do is throw the timing light off. So the break in the wire, it's sending a signal to the distributor, bop, bop, bop. You guys know how that works. At the end of the day is that when I hooked up the timing light was actually very, very retarded. So the timing was completely off. That was what was causing the pop in the exhaust. I thought it sounded like timing, but I checked the timing, I checked the timing, I checked the timing, and the signal, this is the first time it's ever happened to me. Usually if you have a bad component, whatever, but at the end of the day, it's a needle in the haystack for me, is that little broken wire allowed the engine to run. It allowed it to perform to a certain level. Once we cured that, the beast has come alive.
Well, and just to piggyback on that a little bit, essentially you dynoed the car with that wire like that as well, which definitely was cutting power.
That's correct. So essentially we spent a bunch of money because of a $3 wire. But no fault to anyone. That's a needle in a haystack. I mean, generally speaking, you trust your equipment, your test equipment. When you're using a timing light, you trust that the light's accurate, you trust that everything's going on. And I've never, in my going back to 35 years, I've never ever had one of those wires to where it was broken, still working, and giving you a bad signal. But just so you know, before you change the hearts of things and the big parts, keep it simple, stupid. You know what I mean? So,
right. So that's the update on this Charger. So what's the general game plan for today? I know you said you got a couple things you want to go over.
Well, we hooked up. I hooked up my wideband O2 sensor to this car, and I tuned it, and then I drove it, and then I tuned it, and I drove it. And what we're going to do today is we're going to take the other Charger now, and we're going to weld the bong in. We're going to hook up the wideband O2 sensor to that and see where it's dialed in at, and see if it's lean, if it's rich, and what tuning we could do to make an improvement on the car.
All right, now we're putting my Charger on the lift.
We're not doing shit. I'm putting your Charger on the
lift.
lift.
Yeah, well, I'm helping you.
That little box.
I'm supporting you.
To hold that thing?
Yeah, dude. My hand gets tired.
Oh, what the fuck? We're putting your Charger on it now. Yeah. What constitutes your old fucking man? Your old man is on the ground, on his knees, putting your Charger on the left.
Whoa.
What we're going to do is we're going to do what I do very, very best. Is I'm going to put don't touch it. We're going to put an O2 bong right in here. Okay? And then we're going to weld it in. So I have to grind away the paint, then drill a hole after I put the nut on there, and then weld it on there. Now, you want to see an expert welder? Look for someone else.
I got some seepage going on here, dude.
What? You got seepage?
I got some seepage.
Yeah. Well, stick some bubble gum on that shit. This car is really nice underneath. If you look at it, just take a look at the floor pans and stuff. I mean, it's really beautiful. Decked out. We really did a hell of a job. This car was a rust-free car when we got it, but man, we really did a nice job on the underside of this car. you know, if you get a good look at it, it's pretty, it's about as clean as they get. You know what I mean? Feel how fast that got hot.
Oh, it's hot.
Yeah, this thing has to be lean as shit in order for it to get that hot that quick. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna fatten the shit out of it, okay, so that you know, you don't have that, because that's what's cooking you out of the car, if I had to guess. Okay, so now what I do is check my O2 sensor, make sure she slides in there, and my nut, and then we'll remark the nut so we get it right. Okay, so see how it's a little tight?
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to go to the next step.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people that would want to know how to put an O2 sensor in their exhaust.
Right.
I'm serious.
And then I'll show you if you miss a little bit on how to clear it out. But okay, so like right there, I got it. Okay, so now here's the nut that it's going to go on. All right, so this is what will be in place after you take the
O2 sensor out.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the last thing you want to do is to leave that O2 sensor in your car and watch it. It'll just make you, quite possibly make you insane. So the reason why I say that to you is that you go to the pump, you go to the gas station, and you get gas. The consistency of it's probably not going to be very consistent. So what you want to do is you want to set yourself up
safe.
Right. You want to set yourself up safe. To the same place and get your fuel. Like we use sheets, okay? And I'm not trying to make a plug for them or anything. I'm just saying that that's generally where I get my fuel because it's convenient. And I generally, you know, hope for the best. So,
Plus, their food's pretty good, man.
right. So now we did plug. So, then I generally take in, spike our fuel. By the way, check this out. There's nothing better to wrap your cords than an old Traeger SS. Now, what we're going to do is here. Set that guy like right there. The interesting part is we're going to be welding a thicker piece of metal against a thinner piece of metal. So I'm gonna opt to not hit it so hard with heat and kind of leave the weld a little lumpy so that I don't burn through the exhaust and have to keep chasing that.
Right.
So, and there again, I'm no professional welder by any stretch of the imagination. I don't know if we're getting it or not, but we're getting around there. So this is a gauge for a car, and it was the very best one I could find at the time. But what this is wideband O2 sensor. So instead of using it for a gauge, I use it for all my cars now. If you stay conservative, okay? You stay conservative and don't try to lean the thing to death to try to get max fucking horsepower and this and that and the next thing, you should be able to get yourself close, and then you go out and then you run it and then you check your plugs, and your plugs will tell the rest of the story. Very hot, by the way. Yeah, I'm a real man. Take a little heat. So what we're gonna do is now we're screwing in our.
Now, does it matter that you're only pulling off one header?
You know, if you start to find a problem, then you should go to the other side. But I'm not going to be squeezing it to the point of saying that I'm going to be to that tipping point. I'm going to get us into the ballpark, right? So I'm just going to say, okay, hey, look, this car's running hot when I'm inside of it. It seems hot. It seems like we're building a lot of heat off the engine compartment. which tells me we're a little bit on the lean side. Now, I could be wrong. That's why we're here to check it out. So what we're going to do, first thing I got to tell you guys, if you start fucking around with your fuel, okay, and then try to tune, you're just going to be putting yourself through a nightmare. So what we're going to do is we're going to establish a baseline fuel that we're going to run in this car, which is mostly pump gas. So generally speaking, what we're going to do is we're going to put the pump gas in, knowing that race fuel will run richer, fat. Race fuel will run fat. So if we set it up on pump gas, we know we're not going to hurt ourselves on race fuel. So if we want to add race fuel, we can, and not screw it up too bad. So we'll just run a little bit heavy on this. So we're going to set it up on pump gas, and we have pump gas in these race can fuel tanks. Okay. Okay, so intermediate circuit, before we go any further, is running lean, which is a good reason why the car is like running really hot inside. Okay, so it's definitely on the lean side. We're going to go in and we're going to up the jets a bit, okay, and get it fattened up, and then we'll reconvene. I'm going to put my 80 in the front. Come on, let's go. There you go. Put the 80 there. You need 3 sizes to make a difference, okay? So
in the front you're doing 79s and 80s and you're going to the rear, is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 79 and an 80 in each carburetor. It's only one size off, which is, you know, shouldn't affect us adversely too much, okay? And then it'll be a good reference point, and then we'll order the right jets and pop them in if this is the right jet change. We may have to do this a few times until actually we figure out what the right jet change is. So this will give us a reference point, and then once we come up with our correct jet, then we'll square it up, make sure we get the right ones in there.
All right.
Okay, we made our jet change. We're going to fire up the car. Go ahead, guys. Right at cruising speed, I'm lean. So what I'm going to do now is I'm okay on the upper end. It's running fat enough up there for me. It's running fat enough at idle. But what I'm going to do is just to kind of trick the situation, because what happens at that medium RPM is like that 2 to 3,000 range. Your idle circuit also comes into play. So what I can do now is I can take and richen up the idle circuit a bit, just to make it a bit fatter, and it'll take that lean spot out of the cruising speed, which will take the heat out of the engine. Okay, that's what we're gonna do next.
Run me at 2,500.
Still a little lean. It's actually right on point. If you wanted to run it that way, you really could, because you're at 14.7. I mean, that's you know, that's really great. But at idle, you're a little bit fat, which is going to keep your engine a little bit cooler. So when you're sitting at a red light, you're not heating the motor up and all that stuff. Should make a huge difference from where we were. Okay. and maybe what we'll do is we'll run it at that and see how it goes.
We're in the Charger.
Yep, let's go. You're in that lean hump. Might need more fuel there, but it shouldn't have been any different.